And we are live. Welcome to the SEO, AEO, GEO, all the acronyms news. My name is Frederick Drost, and today I'll be going over the news from last week. I've got my tea, it's cold outside, and let's just jump right into it. First up, there's a really cool, interesting here from growthmemo.com around Search Console data and how 75% of it is incomplete now. I've always said if it's keyword volume, like all the keywords a website ranks for, it might be better sometimes to look at SEMrush, Ahrefs, other types of tools. Like it's not always that Search Console will give you the best like list of keywords, so to speak. But again, it's closest truth we have when it comes to actual like click-through rates and traffic, right? Those are harder to estimate for these tools. This just kind of hammers in the point of how little we can trust it. So the overall filter rate, 75% of impressions are filtered from a query level. Click filtering, 38% of clicks are filtered. Very interesting. Again, we did reporting in my last agency where I don't work anymore, and it was always analytics Search Console discrepancy with clicks, like always. Sometimes really big. So again, there's a lot of like there's some AIO impact, et cetera, et cetera. It's a really good article. I think this is, if you're asking if Search Console is pure truth, this is the article to pull up. So have that in mind. Another important read here, Googlebot file limit is 15 megabytes, 64 megabytes for PDFs, and 2 megabytes for other file types. What does that mean? Well, other file types include HTML. So if your initial doc request is more than 2 megabytes, it's going to just stop reading. So it's reading the first 2 megabytes of that file. So if you have important content after that, or if your file is 4 megabytes, which is a lot for HTML, but again, I've seen some really deeply nested HTML files with too much DOM tree. It's too big of a tree, DOM tree anyway. So what I'm saying here is these are now things to look into if you're feeling that Google is not seeing your entire website. When it comes to the other file types, also, yeah, I mean, images over this is just going to be too big anyway, so that makes sense. Well, limit to HTML and web search files, related web search files. Okay. So yeah, just a really, really good thing to keep in mind. I don't know why this is coming out now. I think there was a discussion on the web forum. Next up here on LinkedIn, someone I don't really know a lot about, Emilia Möller sounds very Dutch or Swedish maybe, but she published this AI SEO funnel, which I kind of like. I think it's very to the point here, so I'm just going to show you how it looks here. The discovery, I like that. Recognition, eat signals, topic clusters over silos, etc. Citation, and then acquisition. It's just really simple, and I think she nailed it if she's the one who created this. Yeah, she is. So Emilia Möller, follow her. Yeah, let's build a network. I'll add her as well later on, but that's a really good funnel. Very simple. I like that. Next up here. Oh no, this is the same article as the GSC data that's incomplete. There we go. So perfect. That doesn't make sense. I've got twice. That's how important it is. I've got it twice. Next up, we've got Lily Ray here. I think it was Lily Ray. She's noticing a lot of big company websites, blogs losing traffic. And it seems to be a lot of explainer content for basic concepts. So what is, how to use. So again, if they're losing ranking, it's not the same as traffic. Like AI overviews can answer it, so you still have visibility and impressions, you just lose traffic. But in this case, we're also losing ranking. So this might be like very programmatic, I would call it bad quality AI content. In that case, well, there you go. So they're dropping. So that's interesting as well to note. Could be from the December core update. Who knows? Andrew Charlton also published something on Twitter, which is really interesting. He did an experiment. So let me show you the post here. So he noticed that their company wasn't ranking in AI overviews, but they were ranking in Google. So what he did is, what was missing on some of their pages was just like literally about the product name by brand, which is very simple, right? And then explaining the brand, the product. So doing that on more pages kind of helped AI understand and target and add them on AI overviews. Google understood because of so many other signals, but the AI didn't because it just looked at the page perhaps. So that was a very interesting, I would say, insight, very interesting learning, and something to look out for when you see yourself ranking in Google but not in AI overviews. And it could be very simple sometimes. So thank you, Andrew Charlton. Again, a really good advice here from Joy Hawkins. we should be spending a lot more time looking at SERPs. Now, I know I follow SERP Alert, which is really good. It's I can't remember his name now, but yeah, great guy. He looks into every most changes on the SERPs. But again, there is not that much difference between these two, except that there is this include details about data and privacy. So what she's saying is by looking at SERPs over time, you're getting an idea of what Google is focusing on. And I think that's a good advice. So I wanted to share it here as well. Now, apparently, Lily Ray's also noticed something in Google, perhaps only in the US, but they seemed to be removing most of citations in AI overviews, and it's almost all links to Google searches or YouTube. So that's seriously bad. Like we're just keeping people on the platform, but your platform is supposed to be showcasing the web, visibility to the web sites on the web, not being the web. Like if you're compiling it, like that wouldn't go in Europe. That would be abuse of a monopoly. So I don't know what's going on with this, but it's a bug, and we're working on a fix, says Rajan Patel. So again, the moment something happens like this, people are really responding, and Google seems to be taking this seriously. So that's really good, though. Here's an interesting one. I put it in minor news, but still, the real SEO skill no one teaches, problem deduction. I really like that. One of them was avoid blame first. That stood out to me. And then team skipping what happened and jump to why. I like that too. So there's a bunch. This is a very good article, and it's very top level, and I agree with it. So have a read. Next up, I think last week we talked about information retrieval part 1, and here is it: how to get into model training data. Again, very, very good articles and a good series here on information retrieval. But I like the whole, well, first of all, he mentions that many publishers block training bots. There are concerns about running out of high quality generated data. And then model collapse, because now the models are just siphoning in low quality synthetic output. So, reaching a point where maybe at one point the models quality, I guess, will just stagnate, which is okay. I mean, they're still really good now, but but to appear in models, again, focus on entity optimization, brand mentions, and then we mentioned entity optimization. Remember how Andrew Charlton, he said, just adding the name, brand, and a bit of information about it on all those pages helped them. So again, that's what I think is you could call entity optimization to an extent. Consistent brand mentions, same as knowledge graph Wikidata. Server-side rendered and machine-readable content, strong SEO marketing, and getting cited shared in reputable sources. Boom. So again, 80%, 90% classic SEO if you're white hat and long-term, but still interesting series here of articles. Google has responded back to people saying they've seen incredible results serving markdown pages to LLM crawlers. So again, your LLM crawler accesses your site, and you just give it a markdown version of the page instead of the classic version for users. Google's John Mueller is warning against this. Now, in real world, publishers who have exposed markdown saw immediate high volume requests from major LLM bots. So they like the requests, but are we getting traffic and visibility? So maybe we're just crawling more and more your site, but not really giving you the citations you want. Unless that request is directly from a web search, again, interesting. But he's saying it could be hard for, they won't parse and follow links in raw markdown. Site structure loss, again, they can bypass headers, footers, sidebars, etc. It might be an unclear recognition. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why it could be risky, but I suggest at least testing it, considering the real world evidence, testing markdown. Maybe on some smaller models you are getting a few requests from, and see what happens before you move into the big ones. But this is, again, I mean, I don't trust 100% Google, what they're saying. Although, and I don't know why he's warning against this, because they don't have an LLM crawler. Well, they do for Gemini, etc. But yeah, I guess they can comment on this. Here's one that's interesting: neural search and retrieval architectures. It's really, really technical, but if you're interested in how LLMs works and neural search, etc., which is, again, you have your models, you've got your base training data, but now it's also doing RAG and doing web searches and retrieving information from more static databases and blending that to kind of ground it and reduce hallucinations, etc. So just a really interesting technical article if you're interested in it, but they do talk about query expansion and RAG as well. So very interesting article. I'm not going to go into detail. There was also a Discover core update, which apparently, again, is, we want to reduce spam, etc., etc. improve quality. So they're calling it the February 2026 Discover Core Update. So if you are relying on that traffic, now you know. There's an interesting click study as well. And I want to show the image here. It's a more smaller click study, but they want to ask, is AI overviews versus traditional organic getting more clicks? And it seems like that's not necessarily the case. You can see the heat map here. I think users are still attracted to this. Maybe it's a reflex. Maybe it's like, yeah, well, I'm used to pressing on number one. Maybe they know the brand. And you have to realize when you see these screenshots here, the branding is smaller here on the sources. Here you see these big logos, and if people know this brand, maybe they've been there before. There's a bunch of things where, oh, I want to click on this. And so it's just interesting to see how many people are clicking on 50. Let's see, how much was it? Oh, so 51% of users click on organic results rather than AI overviews. So that was really one of the conclusions. So really, really interesting stuff here. And then how many people actually click on the first citation. So people, what they also say here is people actually will look sometimes into the AI overviews, but then they want to confirm that by going into the sources here, and mostly the top source. So I like that. It shows users are not dumb, but again, it was a very, like, they want to confirm things to see in AI overviews, but the study might be a little flawed. There was not a lot of people doing it, and they were asked to click no matter what. So some of these are zero-click searches anyway. So a little bit flawed, but I kind of like the idea here. Oh yeah, and then Andrea Volpini here from Twitter, good follow, Cyber Andy, says that Vertex AI Vector Search 2.0 is a great possible way to learn how to Google AI mode works. So you can kind of simulate that, I think, which is really interesting. So just a really good tip. A great article here on, is your internal linking helping or hurting topical authority? I like, again, I've done a lot of these. I think I've talked a lot about internal linking in my last job, but I like that its PageRank remains a useful conceptual model for understanding internal link value and flow. And this stood out as well. Internal links distribute external link equity and steer where authority accumulates. Well-aligned links strengthen topical authority, mismatched links diluted. So that makes sense. A lot of these things, again, is things I already know, and her approach to evaluating internal links is not the same as mine, so I have a different way a little bit, but overall we pretty much agree. And I would say if you have a lot of content and you work with content topic clusters, so to speak, you are bound to do internal linking, and it should be part of it. And usually you would go back to the content created and reevaluate them. So I don't do the whole website. I reevaluate topic clusters, assess them, add internal links, move on to the next, which I think is better. So yeah. And then finally, this one, really, really cool. So are you losing visibility? Is losing visibility in Google affecting your AI visibility? There's been correlation between your visibility in AI in Google and then AI. But again, usually when you're visible in Google, you mention more places, you have more backlinks, or you're bigger part of the training data, and you've done good PR, and they kind of add up. It's not just the fact that you're ranking well that makes you rank well in AI, although you could do a web search and stuff, but it's the other SEO factors around it, which is why SEOs are so well equipped to handle AI visibility. But this is interesting, is that now we actually kind of have proof here. So the Grokopedia drop in Google here, I've explained in the past that if you drop in Google, you risk dropping AI search as well. But now we kind of have proof. Do not try to game AI search with tactics that can get you hit by Google. You can then drop in Google search and in AI search. So again, just nice little proof, I would say. Whew, that was a lot of stuff for this week. I hope you liked it. In the video description, you have all of these with short summaries and links, so you can copy paste them, put them in your own notes, or share them with clients, etc. Please like, please subscribe, and I will post weekly every Monday or Tuesday, and otherwise have a lovely week.